Jagdish, bonjour.
Bonjour Joe, auditeurs et internautes, bonjour. D'abord, oui, in a private notice question, leader de l'opposition, alors Xavier Duval peut demander si le ministère du Commerce il autorise importation 22 millions de papiers à rouler qui ont une valeur 460 millions de roupies au marché local. Et raison associée à une telle importation, alors nous constatons que le papier roulé est interdit au marché parce qu'il est un produit qui servait dans la consommation la drogue synthétique, cannabis et les autres types de drogue. Et là, c'est le ministre du Commerce, Suivez, qui pour bien répondre à la private notice question, donc leader de l'opposition, Xavier Duval. Nous allons en direct avec le Parlement, le début de la séance.
Mr. Speaker, my question is addressed to the Honourable Minister of Labour, Human Resource Development and Training, Minister of Commerce and Consumer Protection. Whether in regard to roll your own cigarette paper, which is used for smoking synthetic and other drugs, he will state if his ministry has, on 14th March 2022, authorized the importation of approximately 22 million items thereof, of street value of over 460 million rupees, and if so, indicate the reasons therefore.
Mr. Speaker, sir, in accordance with Consumer Protection Control of Imports Regulation 2017, presently import permits are issued in respect of restricted goods listed in the 4th schedule of the regulations. No import permits are issued in respect of prohibited goods, which are listed under the 3rd schedule of the same regulations. The item roll your own cigarette paper was in fact listed as a prohibited good prior to 2nd of June 2015 and was delisted following the introduction of the Consumer Protection Control of Imports Amendment Regulation 2015. The amendment was made on 2nd of June 2015 relates to a policy decision in the context of the elimination of non-tariff barriers and with a view to streamlining procedures and facilitating trade in Mauritius. However, this item was then relisted as a prohibited good pursuant to the coming into operation of the Consumer Protection Control of Imports Amendment number 6, Regulation 2015 on 17th of December 2015. Regarding the regulation proclaimed on 17th December 2015, as a result of concerns expressed subsequently, it was decided to relist roll your own cigarette papers under HS Code 48.13 and rolling machines other than rolling machines of industrial types used to manufacture cigarettes as prohibited items as from 17th December 2015 through the Consumer Protection Control of Imports Amendment 6, Regulation 2015, GN 242 of 2015. Moreover, it was decided that items ordered or imported prior to the coming into operation of the regulation would not be affected, taking into considerations commitments which had already been taken in the period during which these items were not prohibited by law, namely between 2nd of June 2015 and 17th of December 2015. Thus, the regulation dated 17th December 2015 came into operation with immediate effect, but was not applicable for consignment which had already been imported, nor for consignment which had been ordered prior to the date of coming into operation. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that the director of Zippy Mouse Company Limited, one Mr. NKS, sent an email to the then Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Consumer Protection on 14th December 2015, inquiring about the procedure for the importation of roll your own cigarette papers from his South African supplier for an order placed 2 months back. Subsequently, on the 23rd of December 2015, the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Consumer Protection sent an email to the company informing same of the regulation in place and also referring to a press communiqué on 21st December 2015. Actually, the communiqué informed the public that Consumer Protection Control of Imports Amendment 6, Regulation 2015, have been promulgated and are effective as from the 17th of December 2015. Consequently, importation of roll your own cigarette papers and rolling machines other than rolling machines of industrial types used to manufacture cigarettes are banned except for those ordered or imported before 17th December 2015. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am informed that on 30th of March 2016, my ministry received an email from Mr. NKS, Director of Zippy Mouse Limited, informing that one of the company's directors, Mr. AL, represented Zippy Mouse at Salon International Tobacco and Accessories, Inter Tabac 2015, where he met with one Mr. Alex Jokovic, Director of Clipasale Limited, and placed an order for 25,000 boxes of OCB tobacco rolling paper on 16th of September 2015. In the same email, the company requested the ministry to do the needful to have the consignment of rolling paper ordered declared by the Customs Department. The company in the said email attached the scanned version of a letter dated 30th March 2016 addressed to the Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Consumer Protection from Mr. Alex Jokovic, Managing Director of Winley Limited, Clipasale. The letter mentioned that a purchase order dated 16th of September 2015 for an order of 975 boxes rolling cigarette papers had been finalized and could not be cancelled. It further mentioned that the forecasted purchase order consisted of 25,000 units of OCB king size plus tips, and that delivery of 500 units and 1,000 units were due to start. The company also requested the ministry to issue a permanent delivery certificate to cover the remaining balance of the whole order. On 31st March 2016, my ministry informed the director of Zippy Mouse Limited that it had no objection to the importation of the consignment for a first batch of 975 boxes of roll your own cigarette papers. As regard to the remaining orders, out of the forecasted 25,000 units, the company was requested to show proof that the remaining balance of 24,025 units was placed prior to coming into force of Regulation GN 242 of 2015. The Customs Department was also put in copy of the letter and was requested to stand guided by Regulation 242 of 2015. Following the Ministry's request for proof of the remaining order of 25,025 boxes was placed prior to 17th of December 2015, the company on the 6th of April 2016 submitted a document certifying the purchase order dated 16th of September 2015 for the 25,000 boxes. Thereafter, my ministry, on the 12th of April 2016, requested the company to provide the following information: pro forma invoice, final invoice, bill of lading, receipt of payment made, document certified by supplier to show actual proof of order placed for 25,000 boxes, and any other relevant document certifying the said transaction. On the 10th of May 2016, Zippy Mouse Limited submitted all documents requested by the ministry except for the bill of lading. Consequently, on the 1st of August 2016, the then Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Consumer Protection gave its no objection to Zippy Mouse Limited for the importation of the remaining 24,025 boxes of roll your own cigarette papers. Thereafter, the company imported 2 consignments of roll your own cigarette papers, namely on the 12th of December 2016 and on the 4th of August 2017. On 18th of September 2017, concern was raised by officers of the Mauritius Revenue Authority on the possible abuse of the said regulation by Zippy Mouse Limited. Consequently, from that date till 11th of March 2022, various correspondences were sent to the company. Meetings were held in presence of officers of the Customs Department of the MRA to sort out the issues. Mr. Speaker, sir, finally, on 11th March 2022, the company submitted a request for the ministry to allow it to import the remaining consignment of 24,025 boxes of roll your own cigarette papers as a one-off importation in order to resolve the matter, as the remaining order had already been paid for and would be for personal storage. On receipt of the documentary evidence requested by the ministry previously, a no objection letter was issued to the company on 14th of March 2022, subject to the following conditions being strictly adhered to. Firstly, the company had to produce documentary evidence to the MRA to the effect that the order of 25,000 boxes had been placed before 17th of December 2015. Secondly, the remaining 24,025 boxes of goods be imported in one consignment, and the said goods not to be commercialized and not to be put on sale on the local market. Further to the no objection letter given to the company, the letter was also copied to the Director General of the Mauritius Revenue Authority and the Director of Customs Department. On 18th of March 2022, the MRA informed the ministry that it would ensure that the conditions stated in the letter dated 14th of March 2022 would be adhered to, but will not take the responsibility should the good be commercialized and put on sale on the local market.
Okay, I understand that these goods now have been seized, and one, I think Mr. Jonathan Augustin, has been arrested, etc. Let me come to the letter of 14th of March 2022, which you refer to. Now, your ministry authorized the importation of 22 million petits papiers, which we know are used for synthetic drugs. And in the same letter, you put that, in fact, this is not to be sold on the local market. Did it occur to your ministry at all why someone would pay over 3 million rupees to import, transport, tax, VAT, etc., on paper, 22 million items, which are not going to be sold in the local market? Did it occur to you at all to ask the person what was he going to do with that?
Mr. Speaker, sir, in any event, the order was placed prior to 17th of December 2015, where the company was authorized to do so. Now, coming to the question of putting on sale, I don't know if the Honourable Leader of Opposition is aware of Regulation 4 for one of the public health restriction on tobacco product 2020. Let me finish, which provides, Mr. Speaker, sir, that no person shall manufacture, import, distribute, sell, or offer for sale in Mauritius, roll on. So it will be for the enforcement authority to ensure that these products are not meant for sale. Because when the importer, when the company requested to import these items, it made it clear that it was for personal storage.
My Mr. Speaker, I think in all my 30 years in Parliament, I've not heard such a ridiculous answer. His letter was given, his ministry's letter was given to the importer before the Ministry of Health, and thank God for once the Ministry of Health prohibited the sale in June, 3 months after his letter. Whether he was aware of what you were doing, I don't know. Now, I'm going to ask the Minister again, why someone would import 22 million cheap papier with a so-called authorization from his ministry that he would not sell it on the local market. Why would
Mr.
someone
Speaker,
do that?
sir, I think I have been clear enough in my answer. Okay? Authorization to import was based on a law which allowed the company to import if order was placed prior to December 2015. The company did produce the purchase order, did produce evidence that order was placed prior to that date. So, yes.
All right. I have a pro forma invoice here,
Yes.
dated the same date as you say, 16th of September 2015. A pro forma invoice is a quotation, an invoice pour la forme. It is not a real order, firstly. Secondly, given that you think there was a commitment for the South African seller to supply this order was never paid for. This order was never a firm order because it was never paid for. Neither a letter of credit issued or payment made. So your ministry issued 7 years later an authorization on a spurious invoice for a spurious order which was never in fact paid for by the company. If you can produce any evidence to show that the 108,000 euros of the invoice was ever paid for by the company, then can you do so now? Because it is not a firm order.
Mr. Speaker, sir, this is a commercial dealing between the company and its supplier. Talking about the pro forma invoice, maybe the person who gave him the information did not give him the purchase order. I can produce the purchase order which was presented to the ministry for the 25,000 boxes of that particular item.
The purchase order must be accompanied by payment for it to become a firm order. Don't you agree, Minister, that you cannot just send an order and no payment made and you pretend to the ministry that it is a firm order?
How would the leader of the opposition expect me to know the dealing between the company and its supplier? What was the terms agreed between them? I would not know. Even him, he would not. He will not be in a position to know that.
I know that no payment was made ever, and this is a spurious, a false order. Now, Mr. Speaker, his ministry authorizes the importation of goods costing about 3 million rupees with a sale value on the streets of Mauritius of 460 million rupees, Mr. Speaker. Just think of that. It is more profitable probably than drugs. His ministry authorizes that and doesn't think it's necessary to refer it to the police, to refer it to ADSU, to refer it to customs, not at all. Thinking it is absolutely normal that someone would sit on a cargo of worth 460 million rupees for his personal use. Is that what you're saying?
Mr.
Do you know the price
I
of
did
cheap
not
papier?
say that. Mr. Speaker, sir, let me answer. Mr. Speaker, sir, I understand that the police is inquiring into the matter. Okay? And to tell you frankly, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, several meetings were held between officers of the MRA, officers of my ministry, and also the representative of that particular company. And from 2017 to 2021, there have been representation made, and we did not give our consent for the company to import.
Me that over the years, this particular importer insisted to import goods of a street value of 460 million rupees, and you were persuaded that it was for his own personal use, and that he went for many years trying to persuade to you, and finally you agreed that it was for his own personal use, this 460 million rupees of goods of street value.
Speaker, sir,
that is why I understand your ministry
Mr.
did.
Speaker, sir, first of all, let's be clear. This file was never brought to my attention. It was dealt with administratively, not me. Don't point finger at me. Okay? Because I did not get involved in any decision making regarding this particular case. Now, let me 2017, Mr. Speaker, sir. So there was a meeting at my ministry. Let me look for the notes of meeting for that particular meeting. And it was decided collectively on the way forward. It was decided collectively by the ministry through the, yes, here. So, in that particular meeting, the then Deputy Permanent Secretary, 2017, I was not even there. I was appointed recently. So, chaired by the Deputy Permanent Secretary, also in attendance were officers from the Custom Department, and several issues were discussed regarding this particular case because the issue had to be thrashed out. And it was decided the way forward. If you can listen to me carefully. The ministry, the way forward, a decision which was taken collectively by the MRA, the ministry, and the Custom Department. The ministry will request Zippy Mouse Limited to submit the contract it had with its supplier in respect of an order placed on the 16th of September 2015. That is for that 25,000 boxes you mentioned earlier. To make and quantify the remaining shipment to be imported, indicating the number of booklets with their respective numbers of leaflet per box, and a time frame as to when the whole consignment of 25,000 boxes will be imported. That was the way forward decided in 2017.
He says he was not aware, but he's defending it now.
I am not.
So, let me finish. Let me finish.
Stating the
so
facts.
he's defending it now, and he knows very well the code of ministerial responsibility, that whatever happens under his ministry is his responsibility, nobody else's. Now, I want to ask the Honourable Minister. He says there's a contract. But you're a lawyer too. Where is the contract when no payment has been made? There is no contract when no payment has been made. So there is no contract. Your ministry did not even bother. And this is where the real conspiracy is. This is a real conspiracy.
No, put your question.
Between your ministry, whoever it was there that you're saying, the importer, because he's also involved, and I will come to that, and this supplier, this importer. This is a conspiracy, and to me it appears that your ministry just whitewashed, and I'm so surprised that the minister is in fact defending. Why is he defending l'indéfendable?
I am not defending l'indéfendable, Monsieur le Président. If ever the leader of the opposition has any information regarding maldone or malpractices or whatever thing, he is trying to say. There's a police inquiry ongoing. You can go to the police. And by the way, let me inform the House, I found it surprisingly also. And I instructed, because the delay between 2017 to 2021, listen to me carefully, listen to me first. The delay between 2017 to 2071, where the ministry was constantly objecting to the issuance of a no objection, suddenly in 2022, it gave its consent. So I instructed the permanent secretary of my ministry to have a complaint made at ICAC to have an in-depth inquiry into the whole matter.
Nobody believes in ICAC anywhere on this side of the House. I'd like to ask the Minister, whether it did not occur to all these technicians in your ministry that the price that this person was, Zippy Mouse Limited, this Augustin, was supposed to be importing in 2022. It couldn't be the same price as 7 years earlier. Who is going to give the same price for one item 7 years later? Did it not occur to you there was some conspiracy going on? You understand?
Yes.
The same price as 7 years before. Have you heard of this before?
Mr. Speaker, sir, this is for the inquiry to determine. There is a police inquiry in any event when the goods were seized by the striking team and the MR. An inquiry has been opened, and it will be for the inquiry to determine whether there has been any sort of thing.
The seizure is no thanks to you. It was thanks to customs based on a GN by the Ministry of Health. No thanks to your ministry, so don't take credit for that, please. I'd like to ask you whether all this time, when in 2022 your ministry decided to issue this surprising letter of importation, where it cannot be sold on the local market even though it's worth 460 million rupees. When that letter was issued, and given the amount and the risk of fraud and the problem of drug consumption, did your ministry contact the State Law Office to see that this was all in order for you to do so 7 years after an order was placed? Supposedly placed?
Mr. Speaker, sir, in June 2015, when roll on your own tobacco was delisted from the list of prohibited items, the then Deputy Prime Minister, who is the leader of the opposition, who was in the government, did not raise any objection. Then, he did not raise any objection then. He could have well objected to the delisting of the said item in 2015. If he was so concerned about the rolling paper being used as for synthetic drugs or cannabis. But let me tell him that these papers are also used for roll your own tobacco, which was recently allowed by the regulations.
So you're allowing roll your own tobacco, but not roll your own paper. What a ridiculous step. How are they going to roll it in what? The papier toilette? Anyway, let me just ask the minister here whether, in fact, his officers, come back to the original question. The price, I have the prices here. On the final tax invoice given in 2022, compared to the quotation, the pro forma invoice of 7 years earlier, the prices are identical. I like to ask the ministry, in what, Alice in Wonderland or whatever, prices do not change for 7 years, and whether he thinks this paper, if it was produced 7 years before, and you have to, I think, lick it and stick it and all that,
you know that one?
Do you think, don't joke with me, do you think that this paper is still usable. So how is it the same price? Tell us, give us, you are defending your ministry. Tell us how it is the same price 7 years after, if you are dealing with genuine people and genuine invoices.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we have received invoice and purchase order. We go according to whatever documents that have been produced in respect of that particular item, for the importation of that particular item. You wouldn't expect the ministry to go and inquire regarding the change of price and so on.
Speaker,
And in any event, Mr. Speaker, sir, the prices are checked by the Customs Department at the time of clearance and upon delivery. It is not for the ministry to go and do all that.
Minister, that we've checked the prices and the price 3 times more than is on this invoice. So it's a shame that his people did not do it. He did not answer concerning whether he sought clearance or this murky business from the state law office. And if he did so, what was their advice?
Mr. Speaker, sir, the regulation, I think it's clear in itself. So there is no need to seek clearance. You want me to read the regulation again to you? Any layperson reading the regulation would interpret it in the same way as I mentioned earlier. So there was no need to seek guidance of the SLO on the interpretation of the regulation that were in place at that time when the order was placed.
Time
The Minister.
over. No advice. Time is over. No advice. Time is over.
1 minute left.
Time is over.
En studio avec la première partie de la séance de l'Assemblée nationale, donc private notice question, leader de l'opposition Xavier Duval, adressé au ministre du Commerce Sud-Escalichon. Alors, il concerne importation 22 millions de petits papiers roulés qui servent généralement dans les consommations de la drogue synthétique, du cannabis, candia ou les autres types de drogue. Et c'est un produit qui est interdit, comme on nous dit en début, juste avant la séance commencée, et qui a une valeur de 460 millions de roupies sur le marché local. Et là, le ministre du Commerce a confirmé que la police a ouvert une enquête après la saisie de sa 22 millions de petits papiers à l'aéroport de Plaisance par striking team de la police. Également par un douanier donc, qui peut faire un suivi. Alors, le ministre du Commerce il a expliqué que la loi, avant qu'il autorise l'importation de sa produit-là, donc petit papier roulé, comme on dit connu à Maurice, mais après, quand la loi est amendée, donc, il est très sévère, alors absolument l'interdit. Mais Xavier Duval pose la question au ministre concerné, comment se fait-il qu'une commande qui est placée en 2016-2017 et qui finit recevoir maintenant en 2022, l'ON même prix qui t'y produit, qui t'y proposé, donc à l'époque. Alors là, le ministre peut dire qu'il n'est pas au courant de la transaction concernant la compagnie, il n'est pas ingère dans les affaires de cette importation et c'est un officier qui collectivement il prend une décision donc pour aller de l'avant avec le produit qui est importé. Alors, Xavier Duval peut dire que là, le ministre Bizet assume la responsabilité, surtout que c'est un produit qui n'a pas un droit importé, absolument interdit, et ça finit faire. Donc, la commande est placée avant qu'il la loi modifiée, avant qu'il la loi consolidée, point d'interdiction totale de petits papiers roulés, et l'importation in fait après, basé le consignment, c'est-à-dire les produits qui finissent proposés pour importer avant qu'il la loi changée. Et là, Xavier Duval peut demander qui fait un produit pareil qui coûte 3 millions de roupies et qui peut vendre très cher au marché local, capable d'être... quelle est l'utilité, qui conséquence et y adresser à qui? Et là, le ministre du Commerce peut dire, d'après lui, d'après la compagnie, c'est pour personnel, donc c'est-à-dire pour un stockage personnel, mais l'enquête de la police pour déterminer et si vraiment Finena mal donne et dans quelles conditions un tel produit donc fin rentre sur le marché et nous rappelle qui le produit, il reste saisi par la police. Voilà, 16h05 et nous marque cette première partie de la séance du Parlement qui peut continuer. Et d'ailleurs, aujourd'hui, il y a à l'ordre du jour un projet de loi, le Dangerous Drugs Amendment Bill, qui peut consolider la loi et qui surtout peut vérifier que la réhabilitation de ban toxicomanes est simplifiée à travers différentes unités qui sont capables pour mettre installées, pour mettre en place en faveur de ban toxicomanes, de ban produits comme le cannabis, de ban produits qui vraiment est considéré pas tout à fait, donc, c'est-à-dire qui sanctionné, pas tout à fait sanctionné sévèrement par la loi. Donc, nous retournons l'antenne. Adieu, bon après-midi.